Comrades, take two of this. Oh man, we were just talking in Slack about, recording issues being interrupted and blah 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 blah, and how that's that's the life of an independent filmmaker, getting interrupted and having to do another take. That's great, isn't it? Oh. Well, anyways, I guess I got interrupted for good reason. They gave me pain meds and food. So I got food over here now. Yay. Yay, food. Alright. So today I'm gonna be talking about being a professional revolutionary. What does that entail? Why do I want to be a professional revolutionary? So I saw the other day Socialism for All. If I can pull up the window here. So this article was found by Socialism for All. Socialism for All, if you don't know, he is I don't want to put words in his mouth. I don't. But he strikes me as a Stalinist. He says Marxist-Leninist, but basically a Stalinist because of how much shit he talks on Trotskyist. But I have my disagreements with him. But he did find this really great article towards the creation of professional revolutionaries, which, is something I've been thinking about a lot, So I'm going to read through this article and then I'm going to give my discussion on it. So let's go ahead and start this bitch. Yeah, hide that. I know I'm sharing the window. Thank you. Thank you, Google, for telling me. I totally did not know I was sharing this window. Gee. No, stay. No. I need to have the tabs. Where's my mouse? Where is my mouse? Right here. Alright. Sehr gut. Jawohl. Ikimashou. Alright. Okay, mouse, you will move the way I want you to. Thank you. Alright, and then I'm gonna have to zoom in because I don't have my glasses. I am blind without my glasses. Like, I'm Velma, Help, I can't see without my glasses. Alright. Let's see how this looks on the stream here. Alright. I think it looks pretty good. So, this is by Julio Antonio Mela, towards the creation of professional revolutionaries. So the source is from Aurora, Mexico, number 65, December 1926, page 897 and 907. Translated by formarxist.org by formarxist.org by Jose Acosta. This edition, Marxist.org, February 2014. So, let's see can I highlight and read at the same time? Yes, I can. All right, cool. So, the fulfillment of social necessities has been the reason for the creation of professions. The artificial necessities created by the... Oh my God. Why is my mouse not moving? I need, paper. Here. Use the bottom of this tissue box here. Let's make life a little bit easier for me. So the fulfillment of social necessities has been the reason for the creation of professions. The artificial necessities created by the actual regime of oppression and equality will be considered useless by future generations. What is more, other necessities will persist by being perfected and adjusted to the historical moment. For example, We will always have a necessity for a laborer to dominate nature in the mine, sea, or forest, while it may be, and it is desirable to eliminate the necessity for the merchant, soldier, and entangler of justice in the same way that the slave owner and other parasites from the previous epochs were eliminated. It is true that these have been substituted by Chelsea and a priest, but this same substitution announces their extinction. There is a profession that has existed in other epochs that is of utmost importance. In the agitated era of today, I'm referring to the professional revolutionary. Me? Huh? Oh, okay, okay. Uh, although ignored, this profession has been fundamental in fulfilling the necessity of social progress, along with the miner, the wise inventor, the electrician, and pedag. I have no idea how the fuck to pronounce this word. And railroad driver. We can find without any doubt the revolutionary. With any doubt, the revolutionary. Before there was Graco, Spartacus, Marat, Robespierre, Bol- Bolivar, Marx, Lenin, and Sun Yat-sen. Slave liberator, patron of the agrarian revolution, liberator of the bourgeoisie from the yoke of feudalism, or the proletarian from the yoke of the bourgeoisie. We can grasp that his duty, his trade, his profession is the same, only in a different stage. The principal characteristic of the revolutionary is their absolute, comprehensive, and total identification with the cause they defend. The ideas they embrace are converted into generators of social energy. The ignorant are accustomed to classifying them as fanatics. Oh, gee, I'm totally not a fanatic, totally not at all. For this reason, reactionaries led by hate and fear, yeah, fill the revolutionary with insults. Again, a lot. Oh, I've had a lot of insults thrown at me in my life. There has been no man more insulted than Lenin in all of this century. Likewise, there has been no other that approach of brilliance, sanctity, and uh, ethically considered heroism in the same length as the leader of the Third International. If the professional revolutionary is a Marxist, for example, they can apply Marxism to all problems and dialectical materialism. Enemies are amazed in the front of the power of his truth, but they dare not accept it despite considering it true and refusing to attack it openly. Yeah, because they have to think about everything they fucking done in their lives and like realize, oh shit, we gotta reconcile, blah blah blah. Yeah, we gotta repent. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You do, motherfuckers. Anyways, they get the monstrous sensation of locomotives advancing through virgin jungles and populated cities. The professional revolutionary may arrive at martyrdom or what is considered such by strangers. Yeah, I need to kind of stop this shit because, like, I'm literally in the hospital because I attempted suicide and got ran over by a car. Gee, I don't know. Furthermore, every minute in his unfamiliar life would be a minute in hell for countless others. What do you mean? It is hell in my fucking life too. Alright, alright, alright. I mean, it's hell in my life too, but I can at least fucking survive it. You know, I've been through hell, I can go through the fucking fire, and I can survive it. Alright. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's not like life is not hell for a professional revolutionary. It is hell. We just can't fucking endure the pain because we're able to. Anyways, they may die in the gallows and torture or reviving the slaughter of the circus. They accept all things with the same naturalness that the baseball player accepts his earnings. It is their profession and nothing more. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't make money from this shit. For this reason, when the public or the public opinion applaud any of their gestures of heroism, they are they consider it so strange as if they were watching a public applaud a singer after hearing their voice from a record player. Their actions, like the voice in the record, is not theirs. It is rather a reflection and inspiration of the social environment. Wait. Let me read this shit again. Their actions, like the voice of the record, is not theirs. Gee, it's almost like I keep telling people this shit. It is rather a reflection and inspiration of the social environment, like Bernard Shaw remembers in the Saint Joan in Saint Joan. They are dragged perhaps without understanding the reason. They recognize the infiniteness of human action. Like Zarathustra, they understand the meaning of the earth. The meaning of the earth. They are saints of this earth, hero of a man, and jesters of the smallness of the moment. They do not aspire for transcendentalism. Okay, yeah. They do not aspire for transcendentalism. I don't know. Sometimes I do. I don't know. They have a pride in being a bridge for the rest to advance. They will most likely not believe in the Nietzschean Superman. Yeah, fuck Nietzsche. Fuck him. Fuck you, Ryan. Fuck you and your Nietzsche fucking bullshit. No, you are not fucking God. Yes, I had a roommate who was also my landlord who literally believed in God. He believed in the fucking Nietzschean Superman shit. The Ubermensch. Fuck him. Fuck you. Fuck you, Nietzsche. But they recognize the progress made from the worm to the monkey and from the ladder to the man. In the same manner, historical materialism has taught them the steps from the feudal to the bourgeoisie and from the latter to the proletarian. After having died completely consumed and drained like a log during a fire, they die satisfied, recognizing the utility of their action. They have been violently burned, but they have illuminated many and warmed up the cold social atmosphere. That's my hope. That's my hope. Not yet. I'm gonna die for a purpose. If you are a student, it is possible that you do not comprehend your profession. You may have seen, if you are sincere, that medical knowledge is worthless if a vast majority of ills are produced by misery and social injustice. Damn! Let's read that shit again. If you are a student, it is possible that you do not comprehend your profession. You may have seen, if you are sincere, that medical knowledge is worthless if a vast majority of ills are produced by misery and social injustice. Saying that out loud in the fucking hospital. You may have seen that all juris. You may have seen that all jurisdictional theories are nothing in the interior of the ruling class. You may have seen that the conquests of modern industrialization are worthless if the vast majority of the population still lives in the conditions of cavemen. Boom! Exactly. You may have seen that all jurisdictional theories are nothing in the interior of the ruling class. You may have seen that the conquests of modern industrialization are worthless as the vast majority of the population still lives in the conditions of a caveman. Like I do. Literally been homeless. Literally have been fucking surviving like a fucking caveman. Ugh. So, dear comrade, if not one of the professions offered in the bourgeois university speak to you, become a revolutionary. Yeah, I dropped out of college for the same fucking reason. Go to the prisons in search of your doctorate. Or just, study Marxism on YouTube, just live life, actually experience life. Uh, if you are a worker, if you comprehend that your 8 to 16 hours of work represent exploitation without limits, understand that neither you nor society will ever receive the earnings of your labor. If you comprehend that despite all the strikes, you will always be exploited, become a revolutionary. The oppressed are looking for these professionals that will fulfill the great necessity of the moment. It is a profession without competition, the the triumphant profession, the profession that every honest man must perform. So let's have a little bit of discussion now, right? So as I just read there, like a professional revolutionary is very important to society. You know, like we need professional revolutionaries. I need to become a professional revolutionary. I need the freedom to be able to like be a professional revolutionary without having to worry about whether or not I'm gonna have fucking food to eat. You know, right now I don't have that worry because I'm in a hospital and I can get food for free and I'm not paying my fucking hospital bill. Right? Hang on, let me take a little bite to eat here. So why do I want to be a professional revolutionary? I guess that's the question. Why do I want this job? Why do I want this to be my profession? You may be asking. Like, what purpose? Like, why you? Why is this motherfucker on the screen yelling at me? Why does she want to be a fucking professional revolutionary? Good question. Good question. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you very fucking simply. The state fucked over my fucking life. Okay? My dad, like one, I was already born with a cleft palate. So I already had those fucking struggles just being born. You know? Having to deal with the fact that like I would be bullied and discriminated against, had to go through surgery. Like my first surgery I was 2 weeks old, already been through shit, right? And shit got fucking worse. I mean, my parents, they weren't together. They were together, but they weren't together. Like they weren't married. And then like my dad, he went to jail. And then my mom, uh, you know, eventually, she had a kid with another man. My dad got out of jail, bounced around between places. I never had stability growing up. At least in the my important developmental years, of 1 through 4. Like Bernie Sanders said, on the campaign trail whenever he was running, he said this many times, like scientists have proven that 1 through 4 are the most crucial years to childhood development, you know, uh, you know, and despite that, I still, I listened to the Beatles. My parents were big Beatles fans. I was named after a song by the Kinks, another great 1960s British invasion band. Really liked the British invasion bands. I really liked rock. Honestly, my favorite fucking genre of music. It's like old 60s rock, or Japanese pop. Uh, I got really big at anime later. But so so there was issues, because I had to deal with what I was going through. And then my dad went to jail when I was 4. The state put my dad in jail, and then when I was 5, My mom, she started being abusive towards me, and the state's solution to that was take my mom away from me. So the state took my dad away from me, and they took my mother away from me. You know, they took my parents away. Like, the state took my parents away. And then I was forced to go move to Independence, Missouri, where basically like before that, I was in a little kindergarten class in like a small little town called Callio, Missouri. You probably have never heard of this shit. You might have heard of Macon, and like the vast majority, you probably don't even know what the fuck Macon, Missouri is, right? So like small middle of the fucking nowhere town in fucking Missouri is where like I was growing up and where I was living. And in the kindergarten, it was just me and two other kids in that class. And then whenever like my mom lost custody of me and I was forced to move to Independence against my will, uh, I went to Williams Southern in Independence, and there was over 30 kids in that class, and it was very overwhelming. And because of my cleft palate, because my face looked different, I basically got made fun of and bullied by every one of them, and I did not really enjoy it. It was very traumatizing. The teachers would accuse me, and like I would get in trouble for shit that I did not do. Which again, I know I did not do it, right? So really fucking pisses me off. My mom would come back in my life, still being abusive, but our relationship would improve in 2016. She would go to the hospital for an aneurysm and then had a stroke in the hospital. And I tried to get a hold of my dad. By the way, my dad, he did get out of jail when I was 6 years old. We talked on the phone every day after like I moved. And then his parents told him that I did not want to see him, and they told me I was not allowed to see him. So my mom went to the hospital. I tried to get a hold of my dad again, get his parents. They tell my dad the fucking story. I mean, they tell my dad about my mom whenever she passes away. And again, they lie to him and tell him that I did not want to see my dad, which was not fucking true, right? They lied, and my dad got the news, and he hung himself 4 days later. So, like, I'm never gonna get the opportunity to see my dad, and that right there, that is a crime. That is a crime that was fucking done to me. It was done to me by my dad's family and the state of Missouri. I wish there was a way I could fucking sue the state of Missouri and tell them to give me millions of fucking dollars right now. Because, again, they hurt me severely, and I was traumatized very severely by the public school system and by just everything. My grandpa, he ran vending machines at the post office. So like I, as a kid, I already learned like basically how capitalism worked without even understanding what capitalism was. Because he would buy all the candies and whatnot, and he would set the prices, and I would always ask him, well, why are you setting the price this high if you're buying it for this much? Blah blah blah. And he's like, well, I have to make a little bit of money off of it, blah blah blah, to feed you kids, and like, and it was what it was. But like basically, I already understood basically what be and all my grandpa did is he just sat on his ass and he did the orders and shit. It was like the people who hired, and then like like my grandma, me, my mom, occasionally my aunt, and some of the other people that he had hired. And like even me, my little brother, we would be the ones going around actually like stocking the vending machines, collecting the money, whatnot. I remember like collecting the money as a kid, and then like putting some in my own pocket, and then getting the shit beat out of me for doing it because like I didn't understand. Well, I don't get it. I took the money. I don't get why it's not mine. But it's whatever. It's whatever. My labor was not my own. So like I already learned that as a kid, like just from experience, without even reading fucking Das Kapital or any Marxist texts. Uh, so like I had that experience, in 2020. 2019, my grandparents, they lost their home because they finally got in trouble because guess what? They weren't allowed to have like, people under 18 working for them. They let it slide with me and my younger brother because we were family. But after my mom died, my grandparents, they did the right thing. They let a mother and her two kids stay with us when they went homeless. And now they were friends with my younger brother, not me. They weren't my friends. They were my younger brother's friends. And so like he started letting them work for him, and that's when he got in trouble. And basically, they told him, "Okay, you can either be forced into retirement, or we're gonna prosecute you for tax fraud." He's of course he didn't pay his fucking taxes. What? I mean, I'm not either. Anyways, anyways, but yeah. So, because we lost our home that like I had stability in for like 10 years, like we moved in there back in like 2009, and then I basically had to lose that home in 2019, and then my aunt, we moved in with my aunt and her boyfriend, and we got in a big fight one night when they were drinking and listening to music really fucking loud, and I was crying, and they beat the shit out of me for crying because I asked them to turn the fucking music down and they didn't. And then yeah, and keep in mind, this is like 1 in the fucking morning. You don't need to be listening to music really loud at 1 in the fucking morning. I don't care what you're fucking doing, like like they always tell me that like I need to show them respect. They never fucking showed it to me. Respect is a two-way street, motherfuckers. Anyways, but yeah, they beat the shit out of me. While they took the phone out of my hand so that I could not call for help. Uh, and then so I had no choice but to defend myself. Keep in mind, her boyfriend, this fucking wide, like a fucking fat ass, 6 foot tall. I had to stab him in self defense. And then they finally called the cops, and then of course I went to jail, and I got in trouble even though I was defending myself, right? Uh, you know, uh, yeah. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. What does it say about the revolutionaries? How like their life is like fucking hell? Like like I'm serious. Like my life has been, and then after that, I went to jail for the first time, and then I've been homeless off and on ever since COVID started. Like literally the day of the COVID shutdown, I was homeless. I was made homeless because I was on suicide watch because of my history of attempting, but I was not actively suicidal. So they said, well, because of the COVID regulations, we don't have the ability to actually like hold you right now. So they just let me go off into the street, and I got help from a friend, a church friend, and I did the right thing. I worked the job. I worked at FedEx Ground where I loaded trailers, for like 9 fucking months. I rode the bike there from Independence, Missouri to North Kansas City. For those who don't know, that is literally 10 fucking miles every day. And I fucking did that shit. I rode a bike 10 miles to go to work. And I saved up and I got into the apartment and I got a lease. And guess what? After I got the lease, the landlord sold the property. And then after he sold the property, my friend, he got kicked out. He died 2 months later. My good friend who, and keep in mind, I've known this friend because like we played D&D together, like started playing D&D when I was like about 14, and like I found a good group that like, accepted me for who I was. I mean, yeah, they made fun of me and they teased me a lot. Unfortunately, the majority of that group, they are fundamentalists, religious fundamentalists. Some of them are. I wish Robert would apologize to me for what he did to, especially with everything Israel's fucking doing right now. Like, because whenever he found out that like I was protesting the genocide, he was like, "Oh, you're a traitor to Israel." Blah 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. First of all, I was never a fucking ally to Israel, but whatever. Anyways, anyway, yeah. So my friend died, and then when my lease was up, of course they didn't want to renew it, so I was homeless again. And then I kept being on the cycles of being homeless off and on, off and on. So I would work, I would get a place. Then whenever I got a place, I'd be so stressed out about maintaining the place that I would get fired. And then after getting fired, I wouldn't be able to maintain the place anymore. And then I lose the home, and then I would have to start all over again. And I have done this like 3, 4, 5 fucking times since COVID started. Right? It's 2026, right? Basically 5 fucking times. I've done this shit 5 fucking times, and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm fucking tired of it. But like, at least I know how to survive it. At least I know how to take care of myself and survive it now. All right. But so like, why do I want to be a professional revolutionary? Gee, after hearing my story, why the fuck do you think? Why the fuck do you think I want to see a fucking revolution on this shit? This whole fucking thing about like, you're treated like shit. You're treated like a fucking garbage just because you don't have some stupid green fucking paper or a big number on a fucking screen. Because that's all money is. It's just a piece of fucking paper or a number on a screen, right? So I need to calm down. Right? So, and I'm angry. I am. I'm super angry. Because when I was a kid, what phrase was shoved down my throat all the time? What I was taught to do when I was a kid? I was taught to treat others the way I wanted to be treated. Right? And no one ever treated me the way I wanted to be treated. And I would make an effort. I made an effort. And whenever people treated me badly, I would be like, okay, cool. I'm going to treat you how you're treating me so you understand why you don't like it. And of course, I would be the one who got in trouble for doing that, right? They wouldn't be the ones getting in trouble for the ones treating me that badly in the first place. No, I'd be the one getting in trouble for showing them how they were treating me, right? And it hurts. It hurts. It does. This life has been a living hell for me. It really has. I and so now, I've gotten involved with RCA, the Revolutionary Communists of America. They kicked me out because I went homeless again, like, a couple years ago. And then, there's like, well, we can't really offer you support. You got to like make sure that you're stable before you can actually do any actual like revolutionary activity or like do any party work, blah, 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 blah. You know, and they're the ones who talk about the need about needing a fucking Bolshevik party, needing to fucking actually be serious about this shit. But they don't want to actually help the people who want to be fucking serious about this shit and actually are living through this shit. RCA I have found not to be trustworthy, unfortunately. I wish I could say better, which pisses me off because they stole the term. They copyrighted the term Revolutionary Communists of America, even though I am literally a Revolutionary Communist of America. So I don't know. I might sue them. I might sue them so I can have the right to use that term. Anyways, but I got involved in DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, in Kansas City, which great fucking branch in Kansas City. I really love my comrades in the KCDSA. Like this year, whenever like I had to go homeless and move like, away for the winter, my DSA comrades have actually offered me support. I've stayed in the Slack. If I can like show you briefly what the Slack looks like. So like so like and like I'm able to have like great conversations in the Slack. Like my comrades have essentially become like my new family. I wonder if it's gonna pull it up here. I mean, probably for security purposes, I shouldn't show like too much of what we talk about on here. But I mean, like it's great. We got like a theory and debate channel, and theory and debate channel, a channel where we talk about music, a channel where we can talk about a whole bunch of things, our hobbies, and all that fun stuff, right? And I really do. I love my comments. I mean, I talked about in my story about how like being a Beatles fan. One of the first movies I ever watched was the El Submarine movie, where like the Beatles saved the day by singing "All You Need Is Love" at the Blue Meanies. I mean, and that's honestly the core of what I believe. I mean, and you talk about like the Christian context too. Like isn't that what Jesus taught us? Well, love thy neighbor, love thyself, love God, love thy enemy. Like all you need is love. And fuck, loving your enemy is hard. It is. It's not easy. You know? Like, I saw Revolutionary Thought, a great YouTuber. She puts out great fucking content. I really love the videos she puts out. She put out one about how, the revolution starts within ourselves, And like, and I've been trying to think about that because, of course, I have my capitalist conditioning that I've been trying to break away from, because, it's not all healthy, the toxic masculinity, the whole, like, I need to be a fucking, and everybody tells me this shit. Oh, you can't cry. You need to be a fucking man. Man the fuck up, motherfucker. Fuck you. Fuck you. Men can cry, okay? It is okay to fucking cry, especially when you're hurt. Okay? There's nothing wrong with crying when you are hurt. Okay? I want everybody, if anybody takes anything away from what I'm saying, there is nothing wrong with a man crying when they are hurt. Cry. Let it out. I mean, this earlier today, I took a nap, and in the nap, I was crying my eyes out as well, and like I had a dream, in the dream. I was crying my eyes out as loud and as hard as I could, and uh and then I woke up and the song came from me, for any anime fans out there who like Full Metal Alchemist, Let It Out. The second ending to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, the one that goes, Let it all out, let it all out. Da 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 da. I've done it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. You she's not dead. Yo, she's a mom. I can't remember the Japanese lyrics on top of my head, but like, I have the tune stuck in my head, and then that song came to me, and also the scene with specifically episode 22 of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Where at the end, Winry is crying because she has an opportunity to take revenge on the people who killed her parents. And she doesn't. She doesn't shoot. And Edward tells her, well, yeah, because, your hands, they're not meant to kill. They're meant to heal. They're meant to give life, right? Because, she's the one who repaired his automail and all that stuff, right? Uh, Fullmetal Alchemist is a very great show, because Edward and Alphonse also had the dilemma of like they lost their mother, and and had an absentee father, and trying to survive the world together, as brothers, and it's really is a great show. I really recommend Fullmetal Alchemist. I do tell you, watch the 2003 version first, and then watch Brotherhood. And uh because the storytelling is just great. It really is. I really do enjoy anime and great storytelling. It helps me process a lot. You know, but I mean, like the translation. If I can find the translation to this. Uh, all out, let it all out. Videos. Do. Oh my god. Search it on fucking YouTube. Thank you. Emma LD. Jesus Christ, Google. You know what I'm fucking trying to search for. You're not fucking even. No, it's let it all out, not let it all work out. Oh my god. Fucking Google. Thank you. Thank you. Obviously, I can't play you the music, but I can sing it. Because YouTube will copyright me. Fuck you, YouTube. Fuck you. But if I go ahead and share the window or tab. Okay, hang on. Do 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 do. Let it all out. Let it all out. You don't have to think your heart is made of steel. Come away now from your own doubt. Like a flower of hope that's grown in the field, you will heal. Although the road has changed you, and the world has often outplayed you. Yeah. Okay. I can't keep track. I don't have my glasses. So I can't actually do this properly. But yeah, I lost my glasses in the car crash. But like, so for my fellow men out there, crying is manly. All right, don't let anybody fucking tell you otherwise. All right, life is hard. Okay, and it's okay to express the pain that you feel from life. And that's why we need a fucking professional revolutionary. Because we need to end this fucking pain and sorrow. I mean, if there's anything the Epstein files proves is that, like, grotesque wealth corrupts a person, makes a person into something where, like, you can't see other humans as human. It It allows you to do things like murders millions of people en masse, rape children, like, and they laugh at it. They laugh when they do it. They laugh when they hurt us. They enjoy it. They find fulfillment off of it. And I can't understand it. I can't. Maybe at one point in time in my life, maybe I could understand it, but not anymore. I mean, why can't we just be caring and loving to each other? I mean, is it really that hard for us to do? Is it really that hard for us to just do the right fucking thing? And maybe it is. Maybe it is hard. I've gone through a lot of pain to learn how to do it properly. Because I keep, coming back to this thought, like, well, maybe nobody else just has the same experience that I do. Nobody else has been through the pain and hardship that I've been through, So, like, they don't fucking understand, But, like, anyone who has any sense of empathy, who has listened to my story, should be able to understand. Like, even if you haven't gone through it, if you have the ability to, like, do Verstehen, which is the German term to, like, walk a mile in another person's shoes, is, like, kind of what it literally translates to, you know, uh, you know, like, put yourself in the shoes of somebody else and imagine their perspective, and figure out, well, why does the person think this way? Why does the person act this way? And honestly, it's not really that hard to do if you do Verstehen, right? Like Verstehen, right? Walk a mile in another person's shoes. Imagine yourself if you were homeless, Like I never allowed myself to get into fucking methamphetamine and shit. But like I understand why people did. I understand why, people who are homeless, they do crack. They do shit like that. Why? Because they have nothing better to do. And it makes them happy for a little bit. And we rather criminalize them for trying to find some semblance of happiness when they're struggling than actually give them a fucking home. Like, why? Why? Why not give them a fucking home? If you really have an issue with, like, fucking drug addicts fucking with shit in society, guess what? You give them a home, then guess what? They can fuck with their own fucking home. Nah, you don't fucking say. Yeah. You give them their own space that they can do whatever the fuck they want with. Whether it's they can trash it, they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. But they don't fuck it with the rest of us. Because I've been homeless, and like, I'm in the hospital because like my phone was stolen by one of those fucking crackheads. Uh, yeah, and then after I woke up from the nap, and I saw my phone was gone, I attempted suicide. It's like, yeah, I don't like the crackheads fucking with me either. I don't like the meth heads fucking with me. I don't like the crackheads fucking with me. Guess what? If they had their own fucking home, their own fucking space, they would do it in their own home and in their own space. And they wouldn't fuck with other people. They wouldn't fuck with you. They wouldn't fuck with me. It's that fucking simple. I mean, like Kyle Kalinske says it best, and I really fucking love Kyle. Kyle, I've been watching him since like, 2016, I think. Like, but like he put it this way, like, you have to legalize, tax, and regulate drugs, right? Again, that's not say legalize, make it like, free for everybody to get whatever fucking drugs they want to fucking get. No, it's legalize, tax, and the last part, regulate, right? because you can regulate them to make sure people are getting safe amount of dosage, people aren't getting like, bad cuts of shit, and then overdosing and fucking dying off of it. And guess what? You do that and you give people a fucking home, then you have a good base of stability for them where they can actually heal and get sober. Ah, you don't say. Gee, oh my god, it's like, is this shit so fucking hard for people to figure the fuck out? Is it really this hard for people to figure this shit the fuck out? I mean, it's not. It's not. And people are going to like yell at me, mock me, and accuse me for saying this shit. But guess what? They have no argument against it because they know I'm fucking right. They know I'm not wrong. They know I'm right. Right? I might be left wing, but I'm more right than them. Ugh, bad joke, bad joke, bad joke. But yeah. So that's my task. Become a professional revolutionary. Let's revolutionize our way out of this shit. Let's become something better. Let's do something better. Let's be something better. Let us all do and be something better. Right? Because that's what we need to do in order to heal. I mean, like, I talked about my own personal trauma, but I mean, really, you look at this country, and the world, the world is traumatized. The country is traumatized, and the world, it needs a therapist. It needs a healer, to come in and, like, tell people, hey, it's okay. Like, we might be going through hell right now. We might be going through, World War III starting here in a minute, and it's gonna be hard. People are gonna die. Like people in Iran are going to die. People in Gaza are dying. People in Myanmar. I mean, and even the fucking countries that don't talk about Sudan. Sudan is one that I remember hearing about a lot. So like it's like I've heard about passively, but like the media doesn't talk about fucking Sudan enough. A country in the middle of fucking Africa. I mean, we got, I mean, like, people in Indonesia, Nepal, India, Pakistan, China, all these places, Russia, Ukraine, like all of this death and destruction over just lines on a fucking map. I mean, again, I talked about being a Beatles fan. John Lennon's song, Imagine. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Right? Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Imagine there's no heaven. Above us only sky, no hell below us. Imagine there's no heaven, no hell below us, above us only sky. Like imagine. Can we just imagine? Yeah, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And guess what? I hope someday you'll join us and the world can be as one. I mean, John Lennon put those words together perfectly. I really love John Lennon. And then, we talk about, with the Epstein files and like the grotesque wealth. I mean, if you ever hear the song Within You, Without You, and you actually really listen to the lyrics, it's the one with the Indian music on Sgt. Pepper's album. We were talking about the love that's gone so cold and the people who gain the world but lose their soul. They don't know, they can't see. Are you one of them? Do. When you've seen beyond yourself, then you may find peace of mind is waiting there. And the time will come when you'll see we're all one, and life flows on within you and without you. I mean, yeah, It's a great fucking song, you know. We were talking about the people who hide themselves behind the wall of illusion. Never glimpse the truth when it's far too late, when they all pass away. We were talking about the love we all could share when we find it, to try our best to hold it there. With our love, we can save the world if they only knew. Right? And that's the purpose. Like this world, we humanity, we don't have to go extinct. We don't have to wipe ourselves out in a nuclear apocalypse. We don't have to let AI wipe us out. We don't have to, let anything wipe us out. We can survive. We can live. We can break the Great Filter. We can become a Type 2 civilization. We can explore space. We can break the Fermi paradox. We can go explore, find other alien civilizations. Like, we can do it. I know we can. But we need to get through this hump in our era. You know, like the old society, it is dying right now. It's up to us to create the new and better society for us all, right? The new and better society where we really can travel space. Not in the empty promises that Elon Musk tells us, not in the empty promises or in a fucking dick-shaped rocket made by Jeff Bezos. But actually going to space. I mean, keep in mind, for all of you who wants to tell me, communism never worked, communism never succeeded. Guess what? It was the communists who first went to space, dumbasses. And we had to compete with the communists by having, guess what? A uh, government run agency called NASA, right? We're we basically use communism to beat the communists. I mean, I'm just fucking saying, so communism got us to the fucking moon, all right? And communism can get us so much fucking farther, all right? You just have to be open minded. You just have to learn. You have to unlearn the propaganda and the conditionings that were taught to us all. Human nature, is not greedy, it's not selfish. Human nature is about being kind, it's about loving, it's about helping. I mean, look, I have a wheelchair. Why does the wheelchair exist? The wheel, people. One of humanity's first inventions was so that we can make life easier for ourselves, so that we can carry things. We can take care of fucking disabled people when their legs are broken. When they can't walk themselves, we invented a fucking chair for other people so that they can move around and have dignity and have freedom. Right? I mean, I could go on a whole thread where I quote Charlie Chaplin, the airplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the universal brotherhood, cries out for the goodness in humanity, right? But we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has goose-stepped us into misery, has barricaded us with bloodshed and hate, right? Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke, it is written that the kingdom of God is within man, not in one man, but in all men. And what does that mean? I watched Revolutionary Thoughts video about how, the revolution starts within. The kingdom of God. I know y'all might not like me using that term, but the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is within us. We can build heaven on earth. We can build it. We are living through hell right now, but we can turn this hell into a heaven for everybody, right? Like we can build heaven on earth. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. You know, I mean that's what Jesus meant when he said that. He didn't mean it as in like a spiritual, metaphysical sense. He meant it as like we have the power to create heaven on earth. And that is what the kingdom of heaven is at hand means. We don't need to do a violent revolution. I mean, we will have to defend ourselves from those who want to be violent to protect their power, but we don't need to be violent ourselves. We just need to be a shield, for those who are hurt and for those who are oppressed. And that's all it's about. So I'll tell you, comrades. The work goes on, the work continues. So what is being a professional revolutionary about? It's about this. It's about creating the better world that we want to see. It's about creating the world that we know can be. It's about doing the right thing that we know can be done. Right? We can do it. We can do it, and we will do it. Okay? We can and will build a better society. Not just for me, not just for you, not just for your friends, not just for your family, but for all people, for all future generations, for our kids, for our children's children, for their children, for their children's children's children, for generations to come. Why can't we build at least until the fucking either the sun blows up the fucking earth or until the heat death of the fucking universe? Right? We can create a better world for everybody. So let's just get off our asses and let's fucking do it. Please. I'm begging you. Thank you.